Hello, gorgeous one. Welcome back to the Unstoppable You podcast with Evelyn Kelly. I'm your host, Evie. It's so good to be back here with you. This is one of my favorite parts of my week is sitting down to talk to you guys, to record the podcast for the week and record the YouTube video. It's so wonderful to be here. And yeah, I'm excited for today's conversation. It's in alignment, similar theme to what we've been going with recently, talking a whole lot more about manifestation, or this is going to be an extension to some of what we've been talking about recently around manifestation. And why manifestation? Gosh, so many reasons, but I think it's one of those timeless ones that we all want to be learning about manifestation and remembering these things, coming back to this stuff so that we can create the things that we really want. But also, I feel like it's just so timely. I think at the start of the year, there's a lot of new visions and goals that people are going after. It's certainly something that I'm revisiting and embodying so much more in my own personal life too. And yeah, so many conversations around this recently. So I think it's a really topical time to be talking about this. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. So thank you so much for being here as always and taking the time to tune in. I really appreciate you for doing so. And of course, as always, if you know of someone who could really benefit from this conversation, I would be so grateful if you could share it with them. It just means that we get to touch their lives and support them on their journey as well. And yeah, I really do hope that it is really supportive for you and others. Now, at the time of recording this, I have a special 2 spots available for one-to-one life coaching or one-to-one business coaching available with me at the moment. I'm so excited for the humans that are coming into these beautiful spots. We're going to be taking these beautiful spots. Now, my one-to-one life coaching is all about really overcoming any wobbles, any self-doubt, your loud inner critic that's putting you down, causing havoc, and really about how to embody true inner self-confidence, true inner confidence to feel so worthy and owning your gifts, your authenticity, being who you truly are in the world, shining your magnificent light, really what I like to call sharing your authentic magic with the world. And yeah, doing it in a really beautiful, empowered way. So I would love to support you if that sounds like you. And then in the business coaching space, there's one-to-one business coaching as well. So it could be life coaching or business coaching or a blend if you have a business as well, but also want to work on some more personal goals as well. So in the business coaching space, you'll know my flavor by now if you've used to the podcast and listened in a few times now. But essentially, I'm all about soulful business. I really love to support coaches, creatives, consultants, healers, space holders to go big on their gifts, their version of success, their mission, and doing it in a really authentic, aligned way. I don't believe that there's only one strategy that works in business. I really believe that the true, long-lasting, sustainable results really come from being in alignment with finding and creating your own authentic business strategy that really allows you to shine a light on your gifts and your strengths and your talents, and really setting it up in a really beautiful, sustainable way so that you can create the impact that you really, the income and the impact that you really want to have. So I'm really excited for that. If you are, brand new to this in the earlier stages or the building stages, or perhaps you've created some really great success for yourself, but you're wanting to fine tune, refine, go bigger without the burnout, whatever it might be, I'm here for it. I'm so excited for this. All the information and links are in the show notes below or the description. Okay, let's kick off today's conversation with the quote. Before I forget, I actually Googled some quotes just to get inspired again. And gosh, there's so many that I just love around manifestation. I'm going to share a couple today because I couldn't choose just one. Okay, so I really loved this one. Your thoughts are architects of your destiny. Your thoughts are architects of your destiny. So true. So true. That one's by David Mackay. Oh gosh. Oh man, how do you trump them? They're also wonderful, but just different in many ways. I saw a Maya Angelou one that I was going to share with you. Never mind. I also really like this one. Once you make the decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. I think that's really important and very topical for today's conversation for sure. Yeah. Oh, so wonderful. I love all these beautiful quotes. Here we are. Maya Angelou. Ask for what you want and be prepared to get it. Ask for what you want and be prepared to get it. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Lots of practical things in those quotes as well for you all to consider. Okay, so let's dive into today's conversation. This is all really about speaking about your vision more, really about creating the vision, getting clear on the vision, and speaking it out more. So I'm going to share a story, a personal story of my own around this that I really wanted to share. I think it's interesting, hopefully insightful, but really demonstrates this point. And again, it's a conversation that I've been having with a few of you around one, creating the vision or getting super clear on what it is that you really want. So I think that is one of the big steps of manifestation that sometimes we can kind of gloss over a wee bit or rush past. And the downfall there is that if we're not crystal clear on what it is exactly that we want, then unfortunately it means that message, that energy that we're putting out to the world is a little bit wishy-washy itself, right? And we want that really solid, convicted, conviction energy and clarity when you speak about your vision. And so this is why I think about speaking about your vision is really important, because it helps you gain that clarity, right? So let me tell my story, and then I think we'll go through the process really naturally. Again, I haven't written a whole lot of notes, just was really thinking about this earlier today, following on from a coaching call that I had with a client, and I was remembering this moment in my own personal journey, and I was like, this is a really good story to tell. Okay, so way back when, this was many years ago now. It was before I was a coach, before I had decided fully to be a coach. And it was kind of the time where I was really ready to it was about my Saturn's return time. I was really ready to create some newness for myself. I had decided to quit my physio job and I wanted to go volunteer in Australia at a health retreat for some time, I think it was about 6 or 7 weeks at the time. And then I went traveling with my then partner, now husband, and we did our big OE around Europe and the UK. And so I was away from home and out of New Zealand for about 6 months. And it was such a pivotal time for me. Oh my goodness. Anyway, that's another story in and of itself. But this moment, I was at the health retreat, right? I was volunteering at this health retreat in Australia. And it was probably one of the most challenging experiences, but yet so grateful for it, because it really encouraged me to grow. It really encouraged me to step up and up level, and it challenged me in loving ways. But as we all know, and as you've heard me say before, these challenges are our teachers and lessons, and we grow through those challenges. And I certainly am really, really grateful for that time, because I grew so much in such a short space of time. And so anyway, I was out of my comfort zone. I was with a brand new set of people. I was at this health retreat. It was a health and wellbeing retreat. So the food and the kitchen was just amazing. There was these gorgeous chefs that were just incredible at what they did. And then we would do yoga and meditation every day. And there was different workshops and things on. It was totally my jam. And now I'd be like, oh my goodness, I want to hold and facilitate that kind of retreat. I want to work there. That was awesome. But anyway, I was a volunteer there. So I was sort of participating somewhat, but very much hands-on. And a lot of my days was spent in the kitchen helping the chefs. And these chefs were just insanely incredible, amazing humans, and just super inspiring for me, and really started to open me up to this whole new world. And what I really loved was it was these people that were so passionate about what they were doing, and they were living their passion, and it was so cool. And we just talked about so many wonderful conversations about health and well-being, about personal development, about growth, about spirituality, about just life in general. We just had the best chats. They were just insanely talented people. And I felt very, very inspired by them. And so once, I was there for about 6-7 weeks. So after a little while, I started to become, more comfortable around them, got to know them a bit better, started opening up more and more and more. And I had this secret at the time that I was holding on to, that I really wanted to become a coach myself. But I was so scared to speak it out loud. I was so scared to talk about it out loud, because it was that silly. I'm going to say silly because it seems like it was so real at the time. And you'll know this if this is you or you've experienced a version of this. It feels so real when you're in it. But it seems silly now to think that this is what my mind told me. But I was essentially scared that if I shared it with someone else, And if I talked it out loud and I put it out to the world, then somehow I would jinx it. That was one of my fears and my faulty belief systems there. And then the other one was that, what if it doesn't come true? Like, what if I don't become a coach? What if I aren't successful at it? What if I don't like it? What if it just doesn't happen and it doesn't work out, or I change my mind? And so this also gives you a glimpse into my mindset and how I was back then. This was my reality. And I was so scared of making mistakes. I was so scared of, changing or looking flaky or being like, oh, you said you were going to do this and you didn't. Or the quote unquote fear of failure, that what if this doesn't work out? And so that's why I was like, oh, I've got to hold the secret really close to my heart here, because what if it doesn't happen? Or what if I change my mind and all of these things, right? So I was just so scared to tell anyone about anything. I had sort of planted some seeds and sort of talked about it a little bit with Brooke, so my then partner, now husband. And so I'd kind of talked about it a wee bit with him, but ultimately, I hadn't really talked about this dream and this vision of mine before. And I hadn't shared that with anyone else. And so it was so scary to share this, but I knew, like, my intuition was just knocking on my door, just sending me those little nudges to say, hey, like, this is a space to talk about it. This is a safe space to talk about it. These are the kind of inspiring people that would be able to hold this, and it would be received really beautifully and received really well. And so one day plucked up the courage and I shared it with them, and I still remember the conversation, and it was just so beautifully well received. Of course, I mean, I was so scared about that, but of course it was so well received. And they were like, yeah, they were amazingly supportive about it. And the beautiful thing is that when we start to, there's lots of things that I think are really important in this story that I wanted to share with you on the podcast here, and share with you because I think it's really important to do more of this, to be able to share our visions with safe people, and to talk about our visions more, whether that's in our journaling and with ourselves and visualizing it and being in the energy of our vision more, and also finding those people in those spaces to talk about your vision more. And there's so many different things that happen in consequence because of that. So firstly, sharing it really means that you're so much more connected to the vision. Like, it's not just in your head anymore. It's not just in your head. It's really like you're really starting to be like, oh, this could be real. I'm speaking this out loud. Like, this could be it. And so you feel so much more connected to the vision. I think being able to communicate it and articulate it is also really helpful for you gaining that clarity. It helps you refine it, right? And it helps you be able to share it and articulate it and communicate it in a really beautiful way. So if you're brand new to this and it might feel like so scary, like far too out of your comfort zone to talk about it with anyone or share it with someone verbally, maybe you can start by articulating it in your journal. Maybe you can start by visualizing it and sitting in meditation or a visualization of some sort where you put yourself in that sometime in the future into that vision that you really want to have and hold for yourself. So visualizing it is a really wonderful thing. And of course, we know this with the manifestation process, right? To be in that vision, to be feeling it, to be in the energy of it, to be describing it in detail, all of those sorts of things. So visualizing it might be one way. Communicating it on paper, articulating it in your journal might be a really nice way to do that. And also finding those safe spaces where you feel like you can share this dream and this vision with someone else. Maybe that's your best friends, maybe that's with your coach or your therapist, maybe that's with a beautiful space holder or someone, maybe it's in your mastermind group, whatever it might be. Just making sure that, I think sometimes when we're a little bit wobbly on it, it can be really nice just to start with at least those really beautiful safe spaces that we know that it's going to be really held and you're going to be safe there. But sharing it, because it's such a good way to articulate it, get clear on it, and connect with it so beautifully. I think the other thing to really remember here is that when you start to share it, and this is certainly my experience, was that I started to own the fact that I really wanted to become a coach, that I was going to become a coach, that it was a part of my vision, that I had this beautiful desire within me, that it wasn't going away, that it kept knocking on my door, that my intuition kept nudging me towards it. And that yeah, it really started to help me own it and feel really good at, like, claim it, own it. Like, this is what I want. This is my desire. This is the vision that I have for myself. And so that's a really beautiful way of doing it. And that's certainly my experience. And of course, the universe, source, whatever you want to call it, is always listening. You know, we attract, we manifest what we are an energetic match to, right? Like, we attract, and like attracts like. And so when the universe is always listening. So if you're putting out that energy of like, I'm going to become a coach, it's going to be a wildly successful business. I'm thinking about all the wonderful humans and the lives that I'm going to touch and the positive impact that I'm going to have and how deeply fulfilling this feels. And at the end of my day, or at the end of a coaching call, or whatever it might be, at the end of a workshop or space holding event, that I feel so lit up and inspired and fulfilled and on purpose. Like, all of those beautiful feelings and being in the energy of that vision is so supportive for you to, one, share that with the universe and putting it out, verbally sharing it, obviously speaking it out loud, claiming that desire. But it also helps you be in the feelings of that, right? Like, visualizing it and talking about it, thinking about and feeling into how this is going to feel. What is it going to be like? Yeah, it's like there's just so magnetic, and it's such a powerful way to start to become that version of yourself that has and holds and is that vision, right? It's so beautiful. So I think that there's so many wonderful ways and reasons why we should be talking more about our visions and our desires for ourselves, really coming from that place of owning it, believing in it, trusting yourself with it, putting it out to the universe. And you just never know what doors are going to be opened because of that. And I just remember that maybe there weren't any immediate doors that opened because of that are aligned with coaching, but in many ways there was. Like, the conversations that we had there made me feel like it is possible to go after your dream and your vision and follow your passion. And if you find something that you're so deeply passionate about, the fulfillment, the level of joy that it brings you when you're doing it every day, or it becomes your thing, your job or your income or your business. And it also, just being around those people and sharing my goals and visions and desires allowed me to connect more with these beautiful people at the retreat. And that started to be like, oh, hey, you might like so-and-so, or hey, I listened to this podcast about this, or this book, or I have this resource, or whatever it is. I remember listening to many audiobooks. I didn't have any physical books with me because I was traveling at the time, but I listened to so many audiobooks at the time. Some of them still my favorite personal development books, and some that I often recommend and share with others because they were so pivotal to me and I loved them. And that came from those moments and that time. And I think just being around those people and sharing that vision with them opened so many doors in many ways, not necessarily like direct doors or like, hey, here's how you do it or whatever it might be, but it just gave me that permission slip to dream and go for it. It was so well received, and I was just felt so really supported and uplifted in those moments. But it also just really allowed me, that vision, to come alive within me, to really own it and claim it and share that with those people. And then it wasn't actually that long afterwards. The story is that after that retreat experience, I came home, or volunteering there, I came home and then flew essentially straight back out to the UK and then over to Europe. And it was in Croatia. I was in Dubrovnik, and I signed up to do the Beautiful You Coaching Academy training to become a certified life coach. Shout out to the Beautiful You team. Adore you. And that is the only coaching academy that I ever recommend if you want to become a coach yourself. I also have an affiliate link for them. If you want to hear about my journey there, there's also a page on my website. I can link that below if you're interested. But man, it was just such a life-changing experience. And so just a couple of, maybe a month or so after that experience, and after sharing that vision for the first time with other people, I started to take action, like massive action, towards actually becoming a coach. And it was just, I mean, the rest is history now, really, if you know my story and my journey. And here we are today with a fully booked coaching business and a podcast and YouTube and all the wonderful things. But I just wanted to share that because I think it can be really easy to see someone who is living into their passion or has manifested that vision, whatever it might have been, and not to realize that, well, they've been through that manifestation process themselves, or they've been on that journey, or they've been on that growth journey, and they've done the inner work, they've done the work on themselves to get to that point, no matter what the vision is. Just remembering that. And I hope that adds, I hope that adds a nice, fun story for you. But I also hope that it demonstrates this really beautiful point around just full invitation and encouragement here to share your beautiful visions, share your desires with yourself. Get really honest with yourself first and foremost. Get clearer on that vision and what it is for yourself. And share it, whether that's through your journal first and foremost and writing that out. Maybe that's sitting in meditation and a visualization of that dream and that goal and that desire. And then also sharing it with those trusted people, sharing it, talking it out loud, sharing it with the universe, putting it out there. You never know what doors it might open. And also just how important it is to get really confident in believing of that dream and that vision for yourself as well. And so, I think it's a really beautiful part of the manifestation process. But I hope that that's supportive. I hope that that's inspiring in some way, regardless of what the dream or the vision is. Put it out to the universe. You're calling in XYZ, talking about how you feel, what it's going to be like, how excited you'll be, how aligned and lit up you'll be, how aligned it is to your values and all of the wonderful things, right? Just really speaking it out. And honestly, I feel like it's not that we speak it into existence, but it's a part of that. It's similar to that, right? We're still going to back it up with aligned action, with courageous, empowered action, with doing the doing. Yeah, manifestation isn't just about it appears on a silver platter out of thin air. It's really about becoming an energetic match to that thing, stepping into that future version of yourself that has and holds and is that thing. And believing in it. Being so like conviction is so important here. Believing, trusting, having confidence in that and trusting it. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I feel like I could talk about this forever, but I hope that's so helpful. Would love to hear your thoughts. I'm always really curious about what lands, what's supportive, what you want to hear about on the podcast, who you want to have on as guests. And I'm all ears. So drop me a message in the comments below if you're watching over on YouTube. Would love that. Give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe. And if you're an OG podcast listener, listening to the audio only versions, love you. Thanks for being here. If you could share this with your loved ones, that'd be so wonderful. All right, my lovelies, I will see you all again really soon with another juicy podcast episode.